Hi, I'm Dan Gable with Shore Murphy & Associates of Casey, and this is another episode of Big Agent in a Small Town. If you're a contractor, you've probably heard of the term uninsured subcontractor before. Today, I want to explain how that pertains to general liability and workers' comp insurance and how it can affect your premiums. So first, as far as general liability, an uninsured subcontractor would be someone you have doing work for you who does not have their own general liability insurance. So how this can maybe happen, let's say you're using someone who is retired, kind of doing something on the side, something like that, and doesn't have their own general liability insurance. This can affect your insurance in a couple ways. The first is from a coverage perspective. Sometimes there are exclusions for work done by subcontractors, so you want to pay especially close attention to that. Another way it can cost you is on your insurance audit as well too. So if you do your insurance audit and have subcontractors who you don't have proof of insurance for, then you're going to be charged premium on your insurance audit for that exposure based on how much you paid out to that subcontractor. So your premiums are affected that way. Also, from an underwriting perspective, it can become an issue as well too. If you're using a lot of uninsured subcontractors, there are fewer insurance companies that will be willing to work with you, so your rates can be higher because of that. And the reason is the insurance companies feel like there's more risk because you have less control over subcontractors as you do employees on things like workmanship and things like that. And it's an issue if that subcontractor doesn't have their own general liability insurance to fall back on. As far as workers' comp, it's similar. Or an uninsured subcontractor would be someone doing work for you that doesn't have their own workers' comp insurance. Probably the most common example of this would be if you're using a subcontractor that's a one-man operation and they may not carry workers' comp. That still is potentially an issue for you in a couple different ways. One, and if there was an incident where that person was injured and they didn't have their own workers' comp insurance, that would fall upstream onto your workers' comp potentially, or that could be a claim going against your policy. It can affect your experience mod. So it can really affect things there. And again, from that underwriting perspective, it can be an issue of there are fewer companies that might be willing to provide insurance for you if you're using uninsured subcontractors. Again, because you don't have the same level of control over a subcontractor as you would your own employees. And then lastly, on the insurance audit, if you have an uninsured subcontractor, or you can be charged for that exposure on your workers' comp audit, which can add up quickly as well too. So that's why this topic is so important on uninsured subcontractors. If you have any questions about this or anything else with contracting insurance, please reach out to me by phone or text at 217-932-2267 or by email at Dan at Shore Murphy Casey, SHOREMURPHYCASEY.com. Thank you.